Yeah, so yeah, Mirage game number 3 currently 2-0 for Nullus, as Nullus is spawning in the middle of the map in the blue color, playing as Loki this time.
What's going on, everyone? My name is Nakamura, and I'm here to help. In the red color, we got DODIM Joe playing as Isis.
Yes.
Yeah, great news. Mirage is definitely one of those interesting maps with this pocket fish. This time, spawning in pockets of or batches of 3, where sometimes it's batches of 2. So that's interesting.
Yeah,
but yeah, there's not that many spots in the back.
Yeah, you can get like a total of 9 and a minimum of 6, which does change. Really does change the build order or the style of game that's going to be played.
Yeah, you definitely don't need to commit as hard to wood as you would on something like Midgard, where you're going to make a ton of fishing ships. One other thing that we've seen a lot is a lot of Norse picks on this. Obviously, the Skraeling can maybe find a good spot on the other side to dock it up and to show up with some surprise longbows when Joe least expects it. Especially if we see a slow Isis advance, that could hurt a lot.
Yeah, yeah. This map for Egyptian, I think is a really good Egyptian map, but the build orders that most Egyptian players know don't suit this map at all. I would assume that you would be able to go in with a really standard like 430 Mediterranean build, but if we're completely honest, Egyptian players nowadays aren't really doing a 430 on Mediterranean very often. They're normally doing like a 5-second town center, advancing a little bit later. So that does change things as well. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see what Joe's going to come up with here.
A good placement of the dock, right in the middle. There's several fish spots that are efficiently being gathered from. And I guess that's all the fish. So it's like, what? 7?
Yeah, 7 fish. I've been saying this a little bit about what Loki players probably should do here. It depends on if you're going 1 dock or 2 docks. But I think Loki's best opening and Norse's best opening on this map is a 2 dock start, where you put 1 dock in the middle of 2 spots to sort of make both of them relatively efficient, and then the other dock straight on the other spot. But I feel like Nullus here is just going to be going for the 1 dock because he doesn't really have much to worry about against Isis. Unlike Ra or Set, there's no shifting sands, so he's not going to get like a villager shifted forward and then a dock get thrown down or anything like that. But yeah, we'll see how it's going to go.
It doesn't look like a super quick advance from Joe or anything, so classical fight still not out of the question, but also maybe not super likely. Whereas for Nullus, he's getting a nice little, what is this, like a 440 advance.
Yeah. Yeah, 440 advance for Nullus is about right. I mean, you can do a 430 here with maybe a little bit less on the dwarves, but actually, he's only got 4 dwarves, so this is probably about as good as it gets. The thing is here that this map always spawns 1 spawn of Gazelle each player. So the idea for a classical fight for Isis makes a lot of sense because Isis and Egyptian are going to have a big advantage against Loki in the classical fight early. So they can actually control that food, prevent the Loki player from hunting. And that can be where the advantage comes. But that being said, I'd be surprised to see anything other than a fast heroic here from Joe. Especially now.
I really got to see how many... Yeah, curious how many villies he will put on that gold mine soon. See if there's a big sort of prosperity coming up or not. Pickaxe is coming in, which is sort of an indicator.
Yeah, I don't know if... I mean, Pickaxe is probably just coming in because he's got too many villagers on wood from the early game and he's just got to spend some wood. Getting a really early shaft mine here makes a lot of sense from Joe's perspective as well. So the house is coming down. Nullus is already starting to put pressure on, which might force Joe into a reluctant classical fight, which is not really something he's going to want.
It's not very comfy for this tower right now, especially with these other units coming in. Even a Troll joining the battle. Unfortunate for Joe that he hasn't been able to fully wall up here, but I guess the priest has scared us away for now. There's another hearse here, pushing him off hunt. Not that there's too much left here, but even that one gazelle is valuable. So I guess there is the transition to more gold miners. Not gonna expect the early prosperity still. Oh wait, there he is.
Yeah, he's actually got enough
He'd go
food
for
income
cows.
from his fishing ships now to get himself the 800
Yeah.
food he needs. So he's just going to get himself that armory, get himself a barracks down, and go straight into Axeman, Chariot Archer. You'd have to assume here.
Yeah, I agree with that. Probably gonna see an early Ancestors Eclipse on the other side of the map to force garrison these villagers. The hunters are way out there, so catching them would be sick. Definitely a good way to use that Sphinx, which is out and about looking for docks.
Yeah.
I
you
think
definitely
so
wanna
is this
stop that.
trailing.
If he can sneak in, it's really big. One thing that...
Ooh,
Oh,
there it is.
yeah, there's the dock. But one thing that Isis does want to do against Loki, which I think a lot of maybe Isis players forget, is that if the Loki player is trying to pressure you, you just wait until all those hearses show up, have a sneaky Sphinx ready to get line of sight of your opponent's base, Ancestors Eclipse the base while all the hearses are kind of busy attacking you. You can kill off their town center and you just retreat back to your home base, and you find yourself having the advantage in the end as Isis. So we'll see if Joe's aware of that kind of style of play, or if he's going to go for something else.
Hopefully he's not going to get completely boxed in here. Actually, Nullus is doing a super good job of connecting all the walls that he needs on the map. And Mirage is kind of like a mini Alfheim, sort of. It's quite narrow. There's a lot of these cliffy areas. So it's not that difficult, not that expensive to go about that. And there's the secret dock number 2 coming up as well.
Yeah, we do see that one of the docks was denied, and to be honest, I don't know about this sort of a dock now from Nullus. You see the heroic age is coming, which means Leviathan's out, which means you need to spend a lot of resources to try and deal with that, as well as then deal with the dock advantage that your opponent's got on the water. So, I mean, in this kind of position here, you can only really just hope that that Joe's going to make a mistake, or Nullus is going to make a mistake on that water.
Agreed.
At that point, you're not going to force anything.
I wouldn't say you should fight the big chunker, that's for sure.
Yeah, the big chunker. But the Migdol's up now for Joe. He's got the town center coming up as well. He honestly doesn't have the safest of maps. So sometimes Mirage can spawn with back gold mines behind a town center, and sometimes it doesn't. So it's some games are really aggressive, some games not so much. So Joe's going to have to really play this slowly and methodically to push across the map and find a win here.
Looking really good compositionally though, like Chariot and Axeman super hard counter the pure Hershey build that we're seeing. There's some raiding cavalry. Hopefully they can get the medium upgrade and grow in numbers a little bit so that they are more valuable. More longhouses coming from Nullus. He's not looking for that heroic age just yet, but I think he's soon going to have to, because this Isis player going up to 2 TC will very soon surpass the villager numbers, and heavily so.
Yeah, there's kind of 2 options really. You can drop your town centers now, maybe grab the middle 2 town centers and just try and make a solid classical age economy and try and see if you can kind of get yourself enough upgrades like medium raiders, copper mail, and try and hold in the classical age on those 2 town centers or 3 town centers, or try and hit the heroic age and maybe even the mythic age after that and a really big spike to try and get damage done. We do see Bragi on the way now for Nullus.
Yeah, and the army is together. The medium raiders are in as well, with the basic raiders being kind of paper. But now that that's in, the flaming weapons push could be actually pretty potent. His full population doesn't want to sit at that amount for too long. He's destroying probably his original temple to get the immediate battle boar spawn. And a very quick flaming weapons in. But Joe is walling. He's kind of suspecting this. Probably saw the score drop. He's like, oh, yeah, let's fortify this.
Joe's just gonna spam as many Migdols here as he possibly can. I'm still seeing raids coming through for Nullus. He's been very, very pesky in the main base of Joe right now.
Yeah, this has to be respected. The spy on the villagers, constantly giving away how much gold there is left. So he knows just when to hit.
Joe can send some myth units over here and deal with this, though. Like, very, very simply. Like, if you just bring... I think he might be doing that. He's got a Scorpionman maybe still? Or has he lost it? Maybe he's
there
lost
they
it.
are. Exactly what you said.
Get those units out. And like, as we were talking a little bit about, like, the Loki composition versus the Isis composition, part of the strategy, in a way, in the Isis point of view, is... myth units are still good against this kind of composition. You just have to make sure that you keep them away from the Hersa, allow your axemen to deal with the Hersa, and then once they're gone, you can use your myth units to clean up all the raided cavalry left over. So you don't actually have to go into like spearmen or cavalry to deal with those raiding cavalry as much.
Yeah, for sure the myth units can do the trick, especially during Eclipse. I assume we're gonna see that very soon. The Ancestor Eclipse probably gonna be here to counter the flaming weapons. There it is. Oh, actually it's gonna prevent the flaming weapons, which is gonna give Joe some pushing potential. Very nice timing on that, actually. Nullus is gonna just have to leg it out of here.
Yeah, I don't know if I like this one. I would have really liked to have seen Joe wait for the flaming weapons to come through first. Joe's got no siege weapons here, so while he might be able to break down all of these buildings and gives himself another minute here, this is just going to mean that Nullus is going to hit a mythic age timing instead of the heroic age timing, which might be even harder to deal with.
At least the priests have been upgraded, so they have even more bonus damage against myth units now. But yeah, like you said, these buildings are going to be tough to deal with, even with the Norse nerf, which means weaker buildings. Basically, the temples and houses are paper, but longhouses are kind of fine.
There's a red dot on those dwarves down the bottom. It looks like Joe's managed to get like a bit of a raid on this one while this is all going on. Absolutely love that play, going after villagers in the main base. Really, really hurting Nullus here, as Nullus is actually not even able to get to the next age, and Joe hits Osiris first. This is gigantic, because this kind of thing actually completely shuts down like a Hell-style Mythic Age timing push from Nullus, because maybe not the Fimbulwinter timing push, that might be a little bit different, but Hell here is just not going to be that useful. Mummy counters the Fire Giant, Osiris counters the Nidhogg and the army to boot. And this is going to be very, very tough here for Nullus to make work right now.
Yeah, Scorpion Van's probably going to go down, but it already did a good job. It's a free unit after all. Killing 3 or 4 villagers and causing some idle time is nice. Then that Son of Osiris will actually benefit from funeral rites, so the bonus damage against units is through the roof. You really don't want to park your Fire Giants against that boy. And sitting behind walls as well, even better for Joe.
Yeah. Nullus has got to figure out a different location to attack. While this gold mine looks juicy and it looks like the place to attack, it's just the walls, the defensive concave that Joe can set up to protect his chariot archers, the Son of Osiris that's going to be coming. Maybe Nullus attacking somewhere else. Maybe Nullus not even just deciding to not launch an attack and just going for economy here and catching back up might actually be the only real way forward here for Nullus without just smashing his units to their death.
Oh, there's the flaming weapons. Heavy chariot comes through, but there's the Son of Osiris that also help defend. A lot of crunchy chariot sounds playing as they drop. There comes the Nidhogg. Is this going to be enough? The wall's still in the way, but not that many chariots left all of a sudden. The villagers are definitely not going to be there to help against the Nidhogg.
Yeah, villagers are going to have to pull off that gold mine. There is still the gold mine at the bottom of the map if Joe wants to go over and grab that while this fight is going on. It looks like the mummy will be getting taken down there, as well as the Nidhogg doing what it can on this location, but it's going to go down incredibly fast. The question
Lightning Bird does so much damage to this thing.
Yeah, not only does it do damage to the Nidhogg here, but it's also going to be spreading across the rest of those units as well. As Joe has to retreat back, he's going to be able to do a little bit of garrison micro through that Migdol stronghold. As he's still taking a lot of damage over here. Nullus still has a whole bunch of units remaining. He doesn't have any resources in the bank, though. I think that's the big problem.
That did seem like a decent trade, but where's the income? Only 31 villagers for Nullus? Excuse me, what happened here?
Well, he got raided by that one Scorpion, man, and he's only been on one town center for probably around about 6 minutes or 7 minutes from Joe's perspective. So Joe should be around 20, 30 villages in front right now just because of that earlier second town center.
So wait, this whole time Joe was on full population and hasn't been able to make villagers. That's what got his numbers down so low, or kept his numbers low. Absolutely brutal. The chariots are weak, the villagers aren't terribly healthy. A fire giant special attack or two might completely change this still.
Yeah, these fire giants
Nullus is
coming
gonna
in.
have to make...
Joe needs mummies right now. He's gotten one monument only, and he's getting pushed off this gold over and over again. He can trade though. He could throw everyone onto wood and just trade for a little bit so he can stabilize as an option.
Agreed. He's got the population advantage for now. If he can just heal up some of these chariots, that would be fantastic, because these fire giants are super spooky for him right now. It's gonna be free.
Yeah. Oh, but we do see a beautiful micro there from Joe. Just leaves
Nice.
the Son of Osiris in front. Well, tries to be sneaky, but not going to be allowed. He has to be careful here, though.
Raiders looking for the surround, but they're not terribly healthy. I almost want to say the Son of Osiris might want to bait them in.
Yeah, that's true. Sacrificed like 100 HP to kill off all those units and give him the gold mine back.
He does have like copper mail, right? So it wouldn't hurt that badly. Oh wow, crunchy crunch.
Yeah, the fire giants are arguably the best. Well, arguably the best myth unit in the game. We're kind of seeing that happen here. As Nullus is absolutely unrelenting. He's still pushing ahead in this game as Joe's idle villages are really hurting him here.
This is gonna be a massacre, Boit, if it continues like this. That Son of Osiris hasn't gotten a shot off in forever. Okay, there's a good one. That hurt a lot. Forcing Nullus back for now. Still, the population hasn't changed in the last 2 minutes.
Yeah, but the thing is,
But now Nullus is gonna have to look for this gold mine.
The big thing is that Nullus has got 70 favor in the bank right now. So while he's got 2 fire giants left. While there's only 2 fire giants or 3 fire giants left, that's still another 2 or 3 to come if Nullus can just get the gold income to make it work, or to get them out, basically. And Joe still hasn't got that next monument down that he needs to make mummies to deal with these easily.
Yeah, but so long as there's her series, they can also sometimes spawn in one, but looks like they have been picked off pretty good, and Joe is well on the way to establishing his proper economy that he needs to put this game away. This gold mine is going to last for another over 2k. Would love to see it empowered. Every little bit counts here.
Yeah, it's a very, very tense moment here as well, because kind of Nullus has got this feeling that this gold mine is what matters the most, but in reality, he could very easily gold starve on the next gold mine as well. So he doesn't have to all in just yet. He needs to get himself population. He needs to get himself the fire giants. We see another huge splash damage coming through onto that position there from those fire giants.
In just a few more seconds and they'll have yet another charge ready if the human units can tank the Son of Osiris for just a moment. There come the special attacks and the chariots are about to get real crunchy. Not much health left on about half of them. The villagers are getting pulled back. Son of Osiris takes a lot of wax from the big hammer boys. Needs to garrison in there. Ooh,
He's
there it is.
struggling
Okay.
to get it back, but he's pushed back yet again, and Nullus is sitting very firmly at that 130 population. Units dying left, right, and center here as Joe is desperately trying to hold on. Meanwhile, do we see that bottom gold mine down there starting to get built around as well? He's got the longhouse.
Yeah,
down
there's
there.
a longhouse. There's more Osiris being made from there. Nullus understands that now that he had the second TC for a while, he's gotten his farms up. He's gotten good enough economy to really do things like this. In fact, he's pulling forward with the dwarves to take Joe's gold mines.
Yeah, this is
Has
actually
he
really
eaten up
smart.
all of his own?
I think he has. I think there's one other one still at the back that he's still mining, but
Oh yeah, this. Yeah.
But here's the thing, Nakamura. Like, Nullus was behind 20 villages at one point here. He's now in front 8 villages. It goes to
Joe
show.
just can't afford anything. Where's his farms, man? He's got 4 farms. Oh no, that might not be enough to pump. He's also trying to get Spearman. He's getting raided on this gold mine, so every vill he loses needs to be replaced too, to keep in line with Nullus. He's now going to have a hill fort up front, which either means Ballista or Housecarl, both being a problem for the chariots. It's Ballista. Champion Cav coming through as well. Oh my. They already have some decent armory upgrades. Probably more coming soon. Fortified town center.
Yeah, here's the other thing that I think a lot of people who aren't Nullus, or a lot of Norse players don't really respect or don't really understand. Is if you get into the late game not being behind as Norse, especially as Loki, you are completely fine in a lot of different situations to fight a late game Isis. So Nullus here, he doesn't even have to finish the game right now. Even if Joe's trying to push out here, even if Joe can somehow stabilize, it's still going to be a very winnable game here for Nullus, and Nullus is just cleaning everything up here.
That's a hard agree from me, Boit. Pulling the boys and the girls into the hill fort may not have been the wisest decision, but it was a decision nonetheless. The Fire Giant Ballista is an absolutely terrifying composition and will chew these up, no problem. Nullus is now in a 2-1 lead, approximately, for economy purposes. Son of Osiris taking a beating too, and more Fire Giant specials coming through. Wow.
Yeah. Joe right now is just saying, I got to sacrifice my Son of Osiris to deal with all these myth units at this point. Joe is still managing to stay slightly in front on the population somehow, some way, but he's going to lose this Son of Osiris, and losing the Son of Osiris is going to mean game over for Joe in more ways than one. Let's see if he can hold on here. But really, actually, the big thing is Nullus is floating resources here. Nullus's population or production here is big, fast enough. He's easily going to be able to repopulate his army. Whereas Joe, he's kind of going to be hard stuck at about like 120 population at best by the time Nullus gets to 160 or even 180 population here.
Oh my, Nullus is going to the other gold mine, one that he's kind of raided already. Joe is not going to have anywhere to run back to. It's just this gold mine with 800 gold in it and trade. That's it. And sorry for missing that Fire Giant special. That looked cool.
Yeah, there is like, you could put a market down and start a trade route, but it would take around about 4 to 5 minutes to get that sorted out. That Son of Osiris is almost dead here as Joe is still trying to market to the best of his ability, but there's just so many units in here.
I hear a lot of villagers dying, Boit. This is making me nervous. It should make Joe even more nervous. He's down to under 30 villagers versus a maxed out Nullus. Excuse me, he can make more dwarves. He can go up to 120 villagers if he wants. Doesn't need to. That Son of Osiris is also getting low. It's the last bastion with the Migdol, the TC, and the Son of Osiris and a handful of chariots. Can Joe somehow survive? This looks extremely tough and maybe even impossible.
Yeah, this is looking nigh unstoppable, this push from Nullus. Even after all the damage that this Son of Osiris and all the value the Son of Osiris has got here, the Norse economy just too absurdly strong in this game. And Joe is trying to garrison that Son of Osiris in and out, trying to get damage done, but he's got 44 population. He's got 20 villages. All the villages falling over here.
I must say the garrison micro has been phenomenal on the Son of Osiris, but that alone isn't gonna cut it. You do need a nice economy and a nice army as well, so that is gonna be the series.
Well, I mean, games 1 and games 3 were impeccably played by both players. Unfortunately, Joe couldn't find a win in this series. I can't say anything but apologies for game number 2. Things happen that are just outside of our control. I wish for more tournaments, more chances to play at this in this sort of a competition for Joe. And I'm sure that he's going to be happy with his performance, at least in the first game and the last one. But Nullus here, I mean, Nullus is really showing so far, at least in my opinion, that he is a a top player to be feared. He has taken out Matrius and now Joe, two incredibly seasoned tournament like veterans, as it were, in these games in quite glorious fashion.
Agree. Nullus is fantastic for sure. Love to see him play.
Anyways, a huge thank you to Nakamura for coming and helping out with this this tournament.
Happy to help.
If you guys are enjoying it, please consider going over to Nakamura's YouTube channel. He's got a YouTube channel. He puts up Age of Mythology content and a whole bunch of other stuff over there, as well as meta plays. I think is it Nakamura RTS on
That's
YouTube?
right.
Nakamura RTS on YouTube. If you guys are enjoying the content, please consider hitting a like, follow, subscribe, leave a comment, all good stuff. I'll see you in the next one.